I understand that facing foreclosure can be a challenging situation. All right. So what I want to do is give you some actionable solutions that you can take to help you get through these challenging times. My name is Gerard Gibson. I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker and the Gibson team at Coldwell Banker. If you or somebody you know could be facing foreclosure or are behind on mortgage payments right now, and you want to know your options, feel free to reach out, give me a call. My telephone number, my contact information is in the description below. There's tons of options and tons of resources out there to help people going through these challenging times. The first thing you want to do before even talking to your bank, before talking to your lender, the first thing you want to do is speak to a financial counselor. You want to get counseling. I believe even by law, I think it's by law, that your lender, when you fall behind a certain amount of payments, they will send you a list of organizations that will give you financial counseling. I believe most of it is free, but there are probably some paid counselors as well. But you should talk to a counselor first so you can understand your options before you speak to a bank. Let's get into this. These are my top ways for homeowners to stop foreclosure. All right. The first thing I want to talk about is what they call a cure payment arrangement. All right. So what a cure payment arrangement is, you call your lender and you say, listen, I'm falling behind. Is there anything we can do or whatever? So the first thing they'll do is say, okay, we'll take all of the money that you owe and we'll spread it out over the next couple of months until you get caught up. Now, the downside to that is you still have to make your monthly mortgage payments. So whatever they take and spread out will be a separate payment on top of your normal mortgage payment. All right. So that could get a little bit expensive, but it's definitely an option for those who can do it. A lot of people are going through foreclosure because of a number of different reasons, health issues or, whatever, in between jobs. There's tons of different reasons on why people go through foreclosure. So it might not necessarily be, okay, well, I don't have the money. If you do have the money to do a cure payment arrangement, that could be an option for you. All right. The second thing I want to talk about is forbearance. Forbearance, we saw a lot during COVID. Okay. I believe that some lenders are still doing forbearance, but basically what forbearance is a suspend. They suspend your mortgage payments. All right. For a certain period of time. And then they take that money that you owe and add it on to the back of your loan, and you kind of get a fresh start. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is a loan modification. Okay, a loan modification is basically a full application. It's a full loan application. You got to submit your financials. You fill out the application, submit your financials, your W-2s, your bank statements, and all of that stuff. And the bank will again try to modify your loan. Now, they can modify the interest rate. They can modify your mortgage payments. They can take the lump sum of money that you owe and put it on the property as a separate lien. I've seen that a lot, where they just take the money that you owe, put it on your title as a separate lien. So when you sell the house, you'd have to pay that off as well. All right. So that's a loan modification. Now, the forbearance, the payment arrangement, the cure payment arrangement, and the loan modification typically don't require good credit. And in most cases, there's not even a credit check for a payment arrangement. All right. This next topic I want to discuss does require good credit, which is a refinance. You basically start over. You're going to fill out a loan application. Again, you're going to submit all of your financials and do a complete refi on that mortgage. So you'll pay off that existing mortgage and then start over. So if you're late on a couple of payments, but you still have good credit, a refinance might work for you. But if you're late on payments and your credit scores drop, you might not qualify for a refinance because you're essentially qualifying for a new loan, okay, on a refinance. All right. Okay. The next way would be a bankruptcy. Now you're going to want to speak to an attorney about this. With a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, it will stop the foreclosure proceedings. Okay. If you, depending on where you are in the foreclosure process, if you go to the courthouse, your attorney will file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy on your behalf, and all of the foreclosure proceedings will stop effective immediately. All right. But it doesn't go away. You have to get through your bankruptcy process in order to come out the other side with a solution. But bankruptcy is another way of stopping foreclosure so you can keep your home. Okay. The next way I want to talk about would be to sell your property. Okay. Especially now in this market where most homes have tons of equity. So if you're in a situation where you can't catch up on the payments, you've tried the forbearance, you've tried the loan modification, you've tried the payment arrangement, you've tried all of these things, and selling your home could be the next option to where you can cash out, take that equity, and kind of get a fresh start over. Maybe it's rent an apartment for a while, or maybe if you have enough equity in the property, you could probably buy another property cash to where you don't even have a mortgage payment. Okay. I did a video on this previously about knowing the numbers on your property. And this is one of the reasons why, if you ever get into a pinch, you need to know how much money is going to be available to you if you decided to sell, if you decided to refinance. How much equity am I sitting on that I could turn to cash? All right. The other thing would be, as far as selling goes, a short sale. So let's say you don't have any equity. Okay. You can do a short sale on the property. You still have to, submit your financials. And you and the bank are basically going to come up to an agreement to say, okay, I don't have any equity in my property. If I sold my home, I'm probably not going to be able to clear the mortgage. I'm going to be short on the amount of money that I owe you. All right. I tell my clients all the time. So if I lend you $100 and you pay me back $80, you're $20 short. That's what a short sale is. You're short on the amount of money that you owe as far as selling a house goes. Okay. So the bank has to agree to let you off the hook to settle, for this short amount is basically what the short sale is. That's another option. If you're facing foreclosure and you want to, get out of your property. A deed in lieu is kind of similar to a short sale. Deed in lieu is the next topic. A deed in lieu is basically you making an agreement with the bank to just give the house back. Okay. The bank has this lien on the property with the loan, and, listen, I can't afford to, I can't sell it. There's no equity. I don't want to make these mortgage payments anymore. Whatever the case may be, I just want to give you the house back. That's a deed in lieu. All right. Short sales and deed in lieus, and even bankruptcies, they do take a lot of time. It's not something that you're just going to make a phone call and it happens in the next 20 to 30 days. Short sales could take anywhere up to 3 months, 6 months to a year. I've had short sales that closed in 60 days, but I've had some that closed in a year and a half. You know what I mean? So short sales, deed in lieu, and bankruptcies probably would take the most time to execute. So in conclusion, it's always best to be proactive. If you're feeling the pinch, if you're feeling the squeeze, right? You gotta kind of start planning. And the planning doesn't necessarily have to be a negative effect like selling your property or any of the things I just mentioned. Planning could be, okay, I might need to pick up a part-time job so I could get caught up, or let me talk to an attorney to see how bankruptcy can go, or let me call a real estate agent to find out how much equity I have in my property. So, once you start feeling that squeeze, you want to start, setting yourself up for success to make sure that you have a game plan in case something happens, right? Depending on how far you are into the process will kind of tell you, give you a good idea of how much time you have left. The foreclosure process usually starts, depending on the lender, after 90 days of delinquent. They will file a lis pendings with the court. Once they file a lis pendings with the court, you are now in pre-foreclosure. All right, that's what we call pre-foreclosure. If you look on Zillow, you can check off the pre-foreclosure box. Those are homes where the bank has filed a lis pendings with the courthouse. Okay, from there, the judge is probably going to recommend that you do some sort of mediation with your lender and try to go through some of these things. Can we do a payment arrangement? Can we do a loan modification, refinance? The bank will try to listen. The bank doesn't really want your property. They want their money more than anything. So they're going to try to go through these steps in order to try to, work this thing out with you. Okay. So if that doesn't work, if you stop communicating, if you stop participating in the process, the judge is going to say, all right, let's get an appraisal done on the house and let's make a judgment for strict foreclosure. At that time, they will assign an attorney, a foreclosure attorney that will be responsible for auctioning off and selling your property. Okay. They will, once the appraisal is done, once there's a document called the, that shows all of the debt, all of the liens and stuff owned on the property versus the value. And then they will hold the auction at the house. In Connecticut, they hold the auction at the house on the front steps of the house. I've been to these auctions. Is not a pretty sight. I've been to a foreclosure auction and the children that lived in the house are looking out the window while these investors are bidding on this property and the attorneys are auctioning off the house. It's not a good feeling. It's not a pretty sight. But so there's ways that you can stop this. There's things that you can do in order for them to, in order to get out of this situation. Give me a call if you want to discuss these options. I can point you in the right direction. I'd love to help you out. Have a good day. Be intentional.